Good morning, everybody. I am refilming yesterday's video about top 20 Friends episodes and top 10 favorite movies with Friends actors in them because I totally forgot to talk about one of my new favorite books directed by James Burrows. For those of you who don't know, James Burrows was one of the directors of Friends, and he also directed many shows from the 70s to the 90s, such as Taxi, Cheers, Fraiser, of course, Friends, and Will and Grace. And let me just say, he directed a ton of my favorite shows. Like, Fraiser and Friends and Will and Grace are definitely in my top 10 list of shows from the 90s. Other TV shows that were in that list are Boy Meets World, Step by Step, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Full House, Sister Sister, Saved by the Bell, a bunch of stuff. So I really liked this book. I got it for my birthday, and it took me about a week and a half to finish it. I really learned a lot about what goes in to making a TV show in this book. And what's really cool is they have, in the book, they have, first of all, pictures of the shows. Let me see. Do they have a picture of the Friends cast? Yep, see, look. Here's a picture right here of Matt LeBlanc and David Schwimmer with James Burrows. And there is also, bits and pieces of the scripts in this book. Like, for example, they have bits and pieces of the dialogue from the pilot episode of Friends. I'll read some of it. Let's put it this way. Were you especially attentive last night, especially selfless and giving, making the little extra effort because it was all about him. I hate men. We got a note from the work asking, does she have to sleep with him? I said she has to sleep with him or have emotional investment, and for the audience to care enough about the story, we won that round. In the pilot, Ross's wife had just told him that she's a lesbian. Monica, are you okay, sweetie? Ross, I just feel like someone reached down my throat, grabbed my small intestine, and pulled it out of my mouth and tied it around my neck. Cookie? Carol moved out her stuff today. Hey, you gotta get back on the horse. And speaking of for all women, thank you for the livestock analogy. So, what they're talking about here with the getting to the part about Monica sleeping with her boyfriend is, I guess what happened is, people thought that Monica was kind of a slut because she slept with her boyfriend on the first date or something. So what James Burrows was talking about in that scene, in this section of the book, is that basically they polled the audience to have them make a judgment of whether or not they thought Monica was a slut. And, I never really picked up on that when I was watching the pilot. I guess I wasn't really listening to that part of the conversation too intently when I was watching it. And another thing that James Burrows mentioned in this book when he talks about Friends is how the actress who played Emily, Ross's second ex-wife, was not a very nice person, and she was almost fired because she didn't get along with David Schwimmer, who played Ross. And that moves into, that moves very seamlessly into talking about my top 20 episodes of Friends. Yesterday, or the day before that, MsMojo posted a new video, top 20 episodes of Friends, and while listening to their video, I made my own list, and I agree with some of their rankings, but disagree with a huge majority of them because I have certain opinions about certain episodes. So at number 20, they put the one with all the resolutions, and I put that one at number 15. My pick for number 20 is the one where Ross got high, which is the Thanksgiving episode from season 6, where Rachel makes the Thanksgiving trifle, and Monica and Ross spill the beans to their parents about, like, their own secrets. Number 19 was the one with the football, which I ranked at number 2. The one with the football is the season 3 Thanksgiving episode where they all go out into the park to play football while they cook Thanksgiving dinner cooks. And Chandler and Joey are flirting with this international woman who I think is from Sweden. And the best part about this episode for me was the fact that it's not totally inside the apartment because they go outside to the park to play football. And I just love the competitive nature between Ross and Monica. Because not very many episodes of Friends focuses on their relationship. Another episode that focuses on Ross and Monica's relationship as siblings, which was not mentioned in this video on MsMojo, is the one with the routine from season 6, where Monica and Ross go on Dick Clark's New Year's Eve special and do a dance routine. And I love that episode because I think the dance routine is really, really neat. At number 18 on MsMojo's list is the one with the rumor. The one with the rumor is a Thanksgiving Day episode where Brad Pitt guest stars. At the time this episode was made, Jennifer Aniston was married to Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, for me, was the highlight of this episode, and I love how Phoebe was trying to flirt with Will, who is played by Brad Pitt. Will is a high school friend of Rachel's who comes over for a Thanksgiving dinner, and Rachel, to her dismay, finds out that Ross and Will had an I Hate Rachel club in high school, and they started a really mean rumor about her that was spread all over the school. And it was even spread around Chandler's school, because Chandler went to an all-boys school, and he even heard about it, that she was a hermaphrodite cheerleader from Long Island. So this is my least episode of Friends. The one with the rumor is one of my least favorite episodes of Friends. I just don't think it's very funny at all. So in that position, I would pick the one in Barbados when they all go to Barbados for Ross's conference. And my favorite scene in that is the one where Monica and Mike are playing ping pong, and the blooper for that scene is really funny because Matthew Perry teases Courtney Cox in it, and I think it's so funny. Number 17 is the one with the videotape. This is the one where the discussion, they're watching the video that Ross and Rachel made when they were conceiving Emma, and the debate is who came on to who. And I'm not going to spoil that episode. I haven't even seen it yet, so I can't really comment on it. And number 17, I picked the one with Ross's inappropriate song. I saw this episode about 3 nights ago on Nick at Night, and it's one of my favorite episodes that has Ross in it because he's really funny in this one. Overall, from season 4 onward, Ross is kind of annoying and whiny, but in this episode, and the one with the holiday armadillo, which I'm going to talk a little bit later about, he's really funny. And the one with Ross's inappropriate song, he sings Baby Got Back to Emma to make her laugh. And there's a really funny scene at the end where Rachel and Ross are singing Baby Got Back to Emma together, and they are dancing. It's really funny. So in one situation where I agree with MsMojo, number 16 is the one with the jellyfish. This is the season 4, the episode that opens season 4 where they're all at the beach and Phoebe meets her birth mother. In this episode, Monica gets stung by a jellyfish at the beach, and I just really love how this is like kind of the start of Monica and Chandler's, like the very early parts of Monica and Chandler's relationship before they go to London. Number 15 is the one in Vegas when Ross and Rachel hook up in Vegas and get married at the chapel. My pick for number 15 is the one with all the resolutions, which I just talked about. The one with all the resolutions is the New Year's Eve episode where Ross makes a resolution to do something new every day. And one of the things that he does is buy a pair of leather pants, which he wears on a date with Rachel's sister Jill. But unfortunately, he gets stuck in his leather pants and can't get them off. So hilarity ensues. Like, this is a funny episode, but at the same time, you have to feel bad for Ross for all of the embarrassment he goes through with wearing the leather pants and not being able to get them on. Number 14 is the one with Ross's sandwich. This is the one where Ross has his breakdown about his boss eating his sandwich. In this episode, I really don't like Ross. I think he makes a big deal about his boss eating his sandwich when to me it seems like such a minor issue. And I think this behavior is what leads Carol and Susan to maybe restrict the child custody issues with Ben. So my choice for number 14 is the one in London. The one in London is the 2-part season 4 finale where everybody except for Phoebe and Rachel are in London for Ross and Emily's wedding. And my favorite parts of this episode is A, the London scenery, because I've never been to London, and B, the fact that Monica and Chandler hook up in this episode and their relationship officially begins. And as I was just saying when I was reviewing directed by James Burrows, Emily's actress, Helen Baxendale, was almost fired from Friends because she did not get along with Ross's actor, David Schwimmer. And so when I first watched Friends, I really liked Emily and I thought she was really sweet. But upon rewatching all of the episodes with the wedding and the fallout of the wedding, I used to think Emily's behavior was justified towards Ross because she was angry at him for saying the wrong name at the altar. But I think she went a little bit too far by saying that he couldn't be friends with Rachel anymore. I thought that was a little bit controlling and manipulative. Basically, she was saying you can be friends with everybody else, but I don't want you to see Rachel. And that was really mean. That made me not like her as much as I used to. Number 13 is the one with Chandler and Monica's wedding. And I ranked this one at number 3. Obviously, this is the episode where Chandler and Monica get married, and it's my favorite episode. One of my favorite episodes of Friends because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, when I've talked about Friends and when I've shared my fan fiction about Friends, Monica and Chandler are my favorite couple. They have always been one of my favorite TV couples ever since I started watching this show when I was younger. They portrayed a more realistic version of romance for me, which I really appreciated as a socially awkward teenager who was afraid to ask a guy out. And I appreciate Matthew Perry and Courtney Cox for that. So my 13th slot pick is the one in Vegas, which I just talked about. Number 12 is the one with Unagi, which I placed at number 4. The one with Unagi is the one where Ross tries to teach Phoebe and Rachel about self-defense, and he's like, ooh, Unagi. But he doesn't really do this very well because I don't know. This is another one of my favorite Ross episodes because David Schwimmer's comedic acting is really on point in this episode. I think he's his funniest in this episode. Number 11, the one with the holiday armadillo, I ranked this one number 5. The one with the holiday armadillo is the one where Ross tries to impart some wisdom to Ben about their Jewish heritage, and I think this is a really sweet episode between Ben and Ross, and we really don't get a lot of father-son bonding time with them at all besides this episode, because once Emma is born, Ben is like totally out of the show, and speculation is because of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody being filmed. Maybe that's why Ben Cole Sprouse was not in the show anymore, but there's a fan theory that said that Carol and Susan got full custody of Ben because of Ross's mental health and his inability to find a stable job. But I feel like once he gets tenure at the university, maybe Carol and Susan should have changed their mind about the restrictions of the child custody and let Ben have a relationship with Emma. I just didn't think that was unfair. That was too fair that Emma and Ben never met each other. Number 10 is the one with the blackout, which I ranked at number 6. The one with the blackout is the episode where there's a blackout around the whole entire city, and this is mostly set in Monica's apartment, except for Chandler's section, where he's trapped in the ATM vestibule with the supermodel Jill Goodacre, and he is having trouble approaching her and talking to her because of his social anxiety, and his inner monologue is very interesting. And the reason why I always related to Chandler's character was because of the social anxiety. I didn't realize I had social anxiety until a couple of years ago. I never really had it when I was younger, when I first started to watch the show, but that's how I can relate to Chandler. And then I have a good sense of humor too. And then also the other reason why is based on the engagement photo episode where he has trouble smiling for pictures. So those are the top 3 ways I can relate to Chandler's character, and that's why he's my favorite. Number 9 is the one with the morning after. This is the one that starts the whole debate of we were on a break. My opinion is yes, they were on a break because Rachel said we need a break from us, but Ross didn't say anything about it. He just left the room and didn't finish the conversation. I think that he should have finished the conversation like a mature adult instead of storming out of the room. Also, Chloe is my least favorite character in Friends because she takes advantage of Ross when he's really vulnerable, and that is what leads to Rachel being cheated on. Number 8 is the last one, which was the series finale that aired in May 2004. And I ranked this one at number 7. My pick for number 8 was the one with the proposal, which was the one where Monica and Chandler get engaged. And the proposal scene is my favorite scene in that episode, which is when Monica tries to propose to Chandler, but she can't finish, so Chandler finishes it for her, and it's just so sweet. Number 6 is the one with the proposal. This is my spot for the one with the blackout. Number 5, the one where Ross got high. We talked about that at the beginning. Oh, the one with the prom video. That was my choice for number 9. That's the one where they're all watching the video of Monica and Rachel's senior prom. And this is the one where Ross and Rachel, first get together and find out they're in love with each other. And, I realized doing research after I watched this episode that Phoebe's quote about lobsters mating for life is actually not accurate because they are not monogamous with each other. Lobsters are not monogamous. So Phoebe was very incorrect in her statement. My number 3rd choice is the one where no one's ready. Their number 3 choice was the one where no one's ready. I mean, I could have decided to just leave this choice alone because I really do like this episode. And I really feel bad for Ross in this episode because he's really stressed out with trying to get everybody out of the apartment on time. The best part of this episode is when Joey comes in wearing all of Chandler's clothes and says, "Could I be wearing any more clothes?" So this is the point. This is the place where I selected the one with Monica and Chandler's wedding. Now, MsMojo's choice for number 2 is the one where everybody finds out. This is the one where the rest of the characters find out about Monica and Chandler being together. And I would have kept this the same too, but I had a hard time deciding between this episode and the one with the football, but I essentially ended up going with the one with the football because, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of my favorite Thanksgiving episodes. And the scene that's my favorite is when they're outside all playing football because most of these episodes are set either in the apartments or the Central Perk Coffee House. So it's good to have a scenery change. And that's what I like the best about this episode. And finally, the number 1 choice is the one with the embryos. So this is the one where Phoebe goes through her process of getting the embryos inserted into herself to have Frank Jr. and Alice's babies, and the one where Monica, Rachel, Chandler, and Joey have the trivia game. And the thing I like the best about this episode, personally, is the whole scene with the trivia game, because not only is it fun to watch the characters match up against each other and try to go after a big prize, which is essentially them switching apartments, but you also get to learn a little bit about the characters, like what their grandmother's name was, what Chandler's job is, the fact that Monica played field hockey in high school and her nickname was the Big Fat Goalie. I just really love that episode. It's so much fun, and it was so much fun to rewatch it and relearn these things about our favorite characters. So last week or the week prior, I revised our list of top 10 movies and shows with Friends actors in them that either came out during Friends or after Friends. Number 1 is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. This came out in 1994. It stars Jim Carrey and Courtney Cox. And Jim Carrey plays the title character, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and he is given the task of finding the Miami Dolphins mascot who has disappeared. Courtney Cox plays his lawyer, Melissa. And I really loved the on-screen chemistry between Courtney Cox and Jim Carrey. I just thought they made a good pairing with each other in that movie, so we gave that movie an A-. Next is Cougar Town. Cougar Town was a TV show that aired on ABC from 2008 to 2015, and it starred Courtney Cox as a divorced mother of a teenage son who lives in Florida. And I like her character in this show, but if I could pick a character I could relate to more, it's definitely Monica from Friends, and not so much Jules. I think I have mentioned before how I can relate to Monica, but I can go into it again. I'm organized. I'm a very caring friend. I look good in the color red, and that's how I relate to Monica. And I don't relate to Jules quite so much because I don't have any kids. I'm not 40 yet. I just had a birthday recently. I will be 40 in 2 years. The next movie is Easy A. We are rewatching this movie again in a couple of days, and the rating could change a little depending on what we think about it after we rewatching it. But right now, the rating stands at B-. The next show is Episodes. Episodes was on Showtime from 2014 to 2018, and it starred Matt LeBlanc, and it's about a TV show that's being filmed by 2 British directors. It's called Pucks, and Matt LeBlanc plays himself, and he plays an actor in this TV series. My favorite character is besides Matt LeBlanc, is probably the male TV producer. And the thing I like the best about Episodes is all the throwbacks to Friends, like when Matt LeBlanc is giving the male TV show director tips about how to write the script. He mentions like the whole drama between Ross and Rachel, and we were on a break. And of course, as you all know, Matt LeBlanc played Joey on Friends. So there's a lot of references to like his catchphrases, like "how you doing" and all that kind of thing. So I can't wait I know that James Michael Tyler appears in this show, the guy who played Gunther. I haven't seen that episode, probably won't be until a later season. So we gave Episodes a B. The next movie or TV show that we ranked is season 10, episode 2 of Friends, the one with the birth mother. This is where Monica and Chandler go meet with the mother who is going to give birth to their twins, and they initially pretend to be another couple, but then they feel really guilty about it later. And my favorite scene in this episode is the one where Chandler apologizes to Anna Faris's character, who is named Erica, who is the birth mother. And he gives this emotional speech about how Monica is a mother without a baby. And it was perfect. It was Matthew Perry's best performance in the whole show, I thought. And I was crying by the end of that monologue. So I gave that episode an A-. The next movie is He's Just Not That Into You. He's Just Not That Into You came out in 2008 and is based on a self-help book about the self-help book of the same name that is about differences in relationships. Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck are my favorite couple in this movie. And my least favorite relationship pairing is Bradley Cooper, Jeannie Connolly, and Scarlett Johansson. Bradley Cooper cheats on Jeannie Connolly's character with Scarlett Johansson's character, and I just hate that. I just hate that whole storyline. It makes me so mad. The next movie is He's Just Not That Into You, gets a B. The next movie is Fools Rush In. Fools Rush In came out in 1997, and it stars Matthew Perry and Salma Hayek. This movie was mentioned in MsMojo's video about couples in romance movies that have the least chemistry. And I was very angry to see this movie in that list because I strongly disagree with their opinion. I think that Salma Hayek and Matthew Perry had excellent chemistry in this movie, and that was what drew me into their relationship, was their excellent chemistry. So we gave this movie a B+. The next movie is Marley and Me. Marley and Me came out in 2008 and stars Jennifer Aniston as Jenny and Owen Wilson. So this is the story of how a dog has a very positive impact on a family, because in the beginning, Owen Wilson's character gets Jennifer Aniston's character this puppy for her birthday, and it's about how the puppy grows up with the family and how the kids have a relationship with the dog, and it's very sweet. And it makes me think of the relationship that I used to have with my dog Bianca, who died in 2015 of old age at age 15. Another Friends actor who's in this movie who people may have missed is Kathleen Turner, who played Chandler's dad, Charles. She plays the obedience school teacher when Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston take Marley to the obedience school. So I thought it was really cool to see her again in a movie, because I really don't know what other things Kathleen Turner has done since the end of Friends, because she was only in 2 episodes, when Chandler and Monica go to the drag show before the wedding, and then obviously the wedding episode. So I decided to pair the murder mystery movies with Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler together for this next ranking, because I had trouble deciding if I wanted to rank them separately. I think both of these movies are fantastic. Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler make a very nice comedic duo, and they bounce off each other very well. The other movie that we really liked with them in it was called Just Go With It, which came out in 2001, I think. So Murder Mystery came out in 2019, right before COVID. And Murder Mystery 2 came out this past April. And the best thing that I like about murder mystery movies is the cinematography, because they are solving a murder mystery in different countries. The first murder mystery movie, I believe, takes place on the Polynesian Islands, and the second one takes place in Paris. And I just wanted to say that it made me really want to go to Paris watching this movie. I've never been to Paris. Number 10 on our list of number 10 is the Ron Clark story. I have previously reviewed the Ron Clark story, but just in case you missed that review, Matt and I love this movie. I think it's definitely our top favorite movie with Matthew Perry in it, besides Fools Rush In and The Whole Nine Yards. The Ron Clark story is a true story about a teacher who taught a delinquent class of teenagers in Harlem, New York. And Mr. Clark is played by Matthew Perry, and this is one of his most powerful performances, and I love how he has such a special connection with all of his students. And the most emotional scene was the one where he confronts his student who gets kicked out of his house, and that was just the sweetest scene. And my other favorite scene is the president's rap scene, when they're rapping about the U.S. presidents. So honorable mentions. Analyze This, which starred Lisa Kudrow and Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal was in Friends in the episode, the one with the Ultimate Fighting Champion, while Hiram and Robin Williams do the unscripted comedy scene at the beginning, where they're two friends who enter the coffee house and interrupt everybody's conversation about who's sleeping with the gynecologist, and he ends up being the one who cheated on his wife, and they leave angrily. So we gave that movie a B+. The second honorable mention is Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels came out in 2000 and starred Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu, and Matt LeBlanc plays Lucy Liu's boyfriend in the Charlie's Angels movies, Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Jason is an actor, so basically I think Matt LeBlanc was typecast in this role because he plays an actor in this movie, and he plays an actor in Friends. The thing that was confusing is you think that the movie that Matt LeBlanc is being filmed in Charlie's Angels is actually a scene that the angel should be investigating, but it's not. It's a movie scene. So you should check out this movie if you have never seen it, or if you remember seeing it as a kid like me and want to see it again. Because I saw this movie when it first came out in 2000. I was in 9th grade when this movie first came out, and it has always been one of my favorite movies of my teenage years besides Shrek. The third honorable mention, Charlie's Angels gets an A-. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle gets a B+. The next movie is The Iron Giant. The Iron Giant is an animated movie that is directed by the same guy who directed Incredibles and Incredibles 2, Brad Bird. I refer to The Iron Giant as E.T., but with a robot instead of an alien, because that's basically the basic story. There is a little boy in this movie named Hogarth who befriends a robot giant who basically is then weaponized to fight in a war. And then Jennifer Aniston, she does the voice of Hogarth's mom, Annie. Harry Connick Jr. does the voice of her boyfriend, Dean. And I think that Jennifer Aniston and Harry Connick Jr. did excellent voiceover work in this movie. I really love them and their characters. the next show I wanted to talk about was Joey, the failed spinoff of Friends that aired from 2004 to early 2006. I watched this show when it first came out, and I remember finding it to be pretty mediocre. Basically, it was all the plot lines of Friends where Joey's trying to find acting work, mashed into its own show, but instead of Joey being in New York, he's in LA, and he also has trouble with women, and he meets this girl named Alex, but has trouble, like, committing to a relationship with her. And the thing that disappointed me the most about this show's early cancellation is the fact that I really wanted Joey and Alex to get together and wish I had gotten a chance to see that, but it didn't happen because the show was canceled after 8 episodes of season 2. Season 1 was released on DVD. Season 2 was not because it was canceled before it could finish airing. So based on all of the episodes I have seen of Joey from when it originally aired, I give it a B. And finally, The Whole 9 Yards, starring Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry. Bruce Willis was a guest star on Friends as Paul Stevens, who is the father of the college girl that Ross dates. Personally, I kind of liked Paul Stevens as a romantic interest for Rachel, and Bruce Willis was just really funny in those 2 episodes that he was in, and he's really funny in this movie too. So The Whole 9 Yards, the best thing I like between the relationship between Matthew Perry's characters and Bruce Willis' character is the cinematography in the scenes where they're in Canada. This movie was filmed in Ottawa, and I have never been to Canada, and I would really like to go there someday, and those scenes in that movie solidified my reasoning for wanting to go. So, we gave that movie a B+. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good week.